Joining me now from our bureau in New York City, New York State Assemblywoman and congressional candidate for New York's 11th congressional district, Nicole Malliotakis. Nicole, that number of defections from the Republicans in the House of Representatives, it's a daunting number, but it's not the end of the world. Some of these are very solid Republican districts that voted for Donald Trump. In the end, what the Republican Party needs are good candidates that, number one, aren't afraid to back the President of the United States when he hasn't done anything wrong, and number two, aren't afraid to take the mainstream media head on.
Absolutely. And, I'm proud to be one of those legislators here in the state of New York that has never shied away from a fight, particularly when it comes to tackling Bill de Blasio. And I was the Republican candidate against him in 2017. And even though we weren't successful in that election, we took him to task. And I did get nearly 70% of the vote in this congressional district that I'm running in now. It is a district that President Trump won by 10%. And it is one that we're going to take back next year.
You got 70% of the vote when you ran against de Blasio in the race for mayor. And that's a heavy figure. And when you look at New York 11, it's an interesting district. Interesting in the sense that it went pretty heavy for Donald Trump. It's a Republican +3, they call it technically, but it went double digits for President Trump in the 2016 election cycle. And in the last 4 elections, elected 3 Republicans. And I would imagine, I don't know if you have any polling from this district, which includes Staten Island, we should point out. I don't know if you have any polling on this, but I would imagine a district like that shapes up and supports the president the way those numbers line up, probably reject what's going on Capitol Hill right now with the majority of the people in that district.
Yeah, the district I'm running in has been a Republican district since 1981, with only one exception, a term a decade ago. And it did flip blue in November. But what I'll tell you is that the current congressman, he ran as a moderate, but he says one thing in the district and he's doing something else in Washington.
All right.
He said in the other day in a letter to the editor that he opposes impeachment, but then he went to Washington and actually voted with Nancy Pelosi and the socialist members of the squad to continue the investigation. He refused to denounce Nancy Pelosi moving forward with an inquiry without a vote from Congress, and so he's siding with them, and that's people are seeing that in the district, and I have a really strong feeling that that's not going to go over very well next year. Silence
is a tacit approval, and I would imagine he's silent on a lot of these issues, but you can pin him down over the next 13 months or so. Your opponent, his name, by the way, is Max Rose. He's the representative right now for New York District 11. And it's interesting, he's targeted by the Republican National Committee, which means that the Republican National Committee and the NRCC think you're, number one, a viable candidate, and number two, he is defeatable. There's been an ad produced. I have a little slice of it. Roll tape.
Rose votes with the radicals for endless investigations of President Trump, wasting our tax dollars. Instead of working to create more jobs, Rose wants more hearings. Tell Max Rose put petty politics aside and start getting things done.
Nice to have that kind of air support from the Republican National Committee. That's number one. Number two, though, let's talk about you. You're pro-Trump, pro-president. You're pro-strong military, pro-wall, pro-Israel.
Well, what I'll say is the president actually tweeted that ad over the weekend, which shows you how invested he is in winning back this district. And it's because he wants a House that's actually going to work with him. I mean, moving forward with these continuous investigations, going down the line of impeachment is doing nothing to lower your taxes, doing nothing to secure our borders, doing nothing to improve our commute here in New York City. And that's why I'm running. And I want everyone to go to my website, NicoleForNY.com. We get the resources. We're going to win this race. And we're going to make sure that the president has a member of Congress from New York City who will actually work alongside him to get things done.
Well, Assemblywoman, we wish you luck. One more time, what is your website?
NicoleForNY.com.
NicoleForNY.com, because it's very difficult to say Malliotakis, let alone spell it. Assemblywoman, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.